Yo, good evening. Happy first week of fall and happy National Pancakes Day, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, the tri state areas of New Jersey, Connecticut, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Your host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and Queens, New York native who is also a New York Mets fan and New York Giants fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking with me by tuning in, listening, streaming, and watching the 423rd episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast. Man, oh man, oh man, I got a jam-packed show full of topics for you today. We got the return of Jimmy Kimmel. We have the LIRR workers strike being on pause, along with Mortal Kombat 2 being delayed to um, May 2026. We got the Rock over the biopic of the Smashing Machine, alongside with the Spawn reboot being delayed as usual. I'll talk about that as well, and along with a lot of topics in this episode that I'm going to cover. So, um, all right. So, make sure you leave. Make sure you take the time to grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page when you're coming in and out. All right. Share this podcast with everyone that you know, including your friends. And leave a like and a comment alongside with the topics being discussed in this episode. Tell me how you feel about the topics in this episode, whatsoever. And also, please make sure you leave a 5-star rating alongside with a review. It really helps the show grow. It really helps me as a host and a creator to keep coming up with topics and new episodes on a weekly basis. All right. So go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star rating and a review. All right. So there you go right there. So all right, let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the chase and start off with the topic that I just mentioned in the beginning, which is the LIRR workers strike being on pause in this segment of the New York Mass Transit Files. Let's do this. Let's go. Okay, let's cut to the chase with the LIRR strike being on pause. All right. And okay. So let's get into it right here. Actually I talked about that in yesterday's episode. My fault. Um anyway, let's do a recap of what's going on, what really happened actually. There was a second Queens Bus network redesign that happened most recently. It was like a couple weeks ago. Um so here's what's happening here. So dressed in her Sunday best in the form of a colorful floral dress, and a yellow hat and coat. Louise Stamp took the bus to church on August 31st, as she does each weekend. But this was also the first day of new bus routes across Queens, as she offered her opinion not on a Sunday sermon, but the Sunday commute to church. I personally don't have a problem with it, Stamp said in Long Island City about the changes. Actually, one of the bus routes truly works in my favor, so I'm looking forward to taking the B62 from Long Island City to Brooklyn. The MTA, which took place in September, um, Sun took place on Sunday, launched the Queens bus network redesign, including changes to numerous Queens routes with ambassadors out in force at stops, handing out brochures and answering questions. This combination, this was a culmination, excuse me, this was this was the culmination of a process that lasted more than 5 years, including a draft plan developed in 2019, a new draft plan in 2022, a proposed final plan late in 2023, hearings in 2024, and MTA board approval of final editions this January. The changes to Queen's 70-year-old bus system, which carries 800,000 riders daily, were phased in on June 29th, with the second and final set implemented that took place on August 31st. The MT the MTA also committed to investing $33.7 million annually to deliver sustain, sustainable Queens bus service improvements beyond upgrades within the existing budget. $33.7 million. Damn. All right. So the MTA calls this a historic effort to bring new and improved transit service to New York's largest borough, including improved connections, greater frequency, and more balanced stop spacing. The, the, the changes include new bus routes and numbers, new rush routes to get riders to the subway faster, relocation and sometimes removal of stops and route changes to reduce turns. The latest changes are primarily in Northwest and Southwest Queens, including Astoria, Long Island City, Jackson Heights, Ozone Park, Woodhaven, Howard Beach, and Far Rockaway. The MTA said riders can use its trip planner, MTA app, and bus time to plan trips and clarify changes. It's been several decades since we made major changes to Queens bus routes, according to the agency, which said growth and travel patterns across the borough changed. The MTA in 2018 redesigned Staten Island's express bus service, and in June 2022 revamped local bus network for the Bronx with more changes expected. Hold on 1 second here. Um, MCA officials said they used 5 years of feedback to build what they are billing as a better bus system that should provide more reliable, faster, and simplified service with better connections. End quote. I believe extending the bus route is perfect, not only for the New York residents that have been here, but also the new residents that have just arrived. Queens Village resident Miles Gross said as he rode a bus back from visiting a friend. Still, Gross said it's important that there are enough buses so extensions don't lead to delays. Rerouting the B62 and adding the new Q80. The B62 was rerouted and extended along 21st Street in Queens to Astoria houses, while a new route, the Q 80 local will provide more frequent and new overnight service along Lefferts Boulevard. Some riders see benefits, many believe they aren't being impacted. Artemis Mar Reed Artemis Marvrido in Astoria said she took the bus 3 stops as always. The bus changes haven't affected me in any way, said Timmy Johnson. I'm just going to work and it's just fine. Queens bus riders as of June 29th who tap to pay using the same device or card will get a second free bus transfer on every trip. The first transfer must be made within 2 hours of the first tap. The second must be made within 3 hours. 3 hours is good. The MTA is piloting this additional free transfer for approximately 6 months while evaluating the new Queens bus network. While some were pleased, some riders were frustrated on Sunday, including one man who said he had been waiting an hour for a bus. Others, like Stamp, who boarded a bus soon after talking, simply prefer traveling above ground to the subway. I enjoy taking the bus because when you take the bus, you get to see different places that you wouldn't necessarily pass through and find different shopping places, Stamp said. I even discovered restaurants in different neighborhoods taking the bus, which piqued my curiosity as I was riding. The MTA plans to analyze impacts such as changes in bus speeds, ridership reliability, travel times, and rider satisfaction over the first 6 months of the new network. They said this analysis will inform future adjustments to the bus network to ensure that service is meeting its stated goals. All right, next in transit news, we got to talk about some craziness that's been going on. Some craziness that's been going on. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on one second. Yes, there was a fight in Brooklyn that we got to talk about here. So, police in Brooklyn are questioning a man after a fight at a subway station led to a strap hanger being struck and killed by a train Wednesday morning. According to police sources, officers from the 71st Precinct and Transit District 32 to the Prospect Park station at around 2:26 a.m. on July 30th after a report of an assault in progress. However, when they arrived, they found an unidentified man with severe head trauma. Responding, EMS units pronounced the man dead. Police have not yet released his identity. Sources familiar with the incident report that two men got into a verbal argument on the platform that escalated into a fight. Based on a preliminary investigation, police determined that the victim was struck and fell down on the platform, lying there with his head hanging over the edge. Seconds later, sources familiar with the case said an arriving Q train clipped the man before he could get out of the way. The victim never fell into the track. During the investigation, police took the person of interest, a 23-year-old man who remained at the scene, into custody for further questioning. Charges against him are pending the results of the ongoing investigation. Anyone with information regarding this incident can call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS, and for um Latinos out there who speak Spanish, you can dial 888-57-PISTA. You can also submit tips online at crimestoppers.nypdonline.org or on X, formerly Twitter at NYPD Tips. All calls and messages are kept confidential. All right. Let me see. If there's any other wait. Let me see. If there's any other transit stuff to talk about. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So more than 80% of trains running on time, but why are this so late? Okay, so NYC subway on time performance last year and this year so far is better than in 2019. But the causes of delays have changed as riders return to transit since the slamdemic, according to a new report on Wednesday from the state comptroller's office. Planned maintenance work, police and medical issues on trains and platforms, and equipment problems are the main reasons trains rolled into stations slower this year and in 2024. According to the report from State Comptroller Thomas D. Napoli, last year, the MTA ran 2.7 million trains, 486,614 of which experienced delays. In other words, over 82% ran on time, which is slightly better than the on time rate in 2019, which was only 81.1%. Damn. So far, 2025 has seen improvement, the report shows. Through June, as ridership increased to 75% of pre-slandemic levels, there have been 214,714 delays, down 13% compared to the same period last year. Subway punction hold on. Subway punctual hold on. Subway punctuality. L was the best, the B was the worst. The L train was the most reliable train last year with an on time performance of nearly 92%, according to the report. It helped that the L train has communications based train control signals, technology that enables trains to run closer together at faster speeds. Meanwhile, the B train was abysmal with an on time rate of only 64.2%, the worst in the system. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. All right, before I continue this, in case anybody's wondering what's the score of the New York Mets playing against the Miami Marlins right now, it's 2-0 right now. And they are already in the fifth inning right now. So I'm gonna keep track of this as I'm doing this podcast recording episode. All right, I got y'all. Anyway, let's continue with this transit talk right here for New York City and the five boroughs. Shall we? So the comptroller said as the MTA works on its capital program, which includes an array of transit upgrades for riders, the agency needs to understand how the service is being disrupted and delayed. In quote, targeting problem areas like signals and issues with subway cars that add to delays can improve strap hangers experience and boost ridership, the Napoli said. Working with the police department, the fire department, and homeless services can also help reduce incidents that cause delays. Above all, the MTA should be clear and open about the work it is prioritizing to reduce delays and how those actions will benefit the public. Per MTA rules, a subway is on time if it reaches its last stop within 5 minutes of its scheduled arrival without skipping stops. Delving deeper into reasons for delays, 31% of delays in 2024 were caused by infrastructure and equipment problems. You might as well include train derailments too. That number rose by 11% in the first half of 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. Police or medical responses caused 23% of delays in 2024, but were down a dramatic 7% during the first half of 2025 compared to the same period last year. 25% of delays in 2024 were caused by planned maintenance work. As we said last week, August subway service was the most reliable in a decade, and on time performance for the entire summer was the best it's been in years. As tens of millions more riders rode the subway, MTA Communications Director Tim Minton said in a statement to AM New York, that's why overall customer satisfaction has been increasing in survey after survey. Hmm. Let's see. All right. Okay, let me see what else to talk about here. Yes, one more transit topic to talk about here before I go to the main topics. Um. Okay. Bargain transit. Okay. Let's see what this is about. Even though the cost of almost everything seems to be going up in NYC, there are still plenty of ways for New Yorkers to commute for free or at discounted cost. Let's see. From reduced fares for the needy to free boat rides, there are many ways to travel throughout the Big Apple without spending a lot of money. For instance, City Ticket. People living within NYC, which is New York City, of course, can have access to commuter train deals that save them money, most notably through the City Ticket program. Anyone traveling on the MCA's Long Island Railroad or Metro North Railroad can travel between stops within NYC stops using a city ticket for $5 during off peak hours or $7 during peak hours. In other words, New Yorkers can use the LIRR and Metro North even if they are not heading into the city's surrounding counties without paying full cost. Wait, there's more. While City Ticket has existed in NYC since 2003 for weekend travel, the MTA expanded the program in 2022 to all off peak trains, followed by another expansion in 2023 to include peak travel. And the score is tied between the Mets and the Marlins, in case anybody's wondering. Let's see. Let's see. According to Governor Kathy Hochul, whose office runs the MTA, customers have saved more than $100 million since March 2022 by using City Ticket to travel within NYC or the LARR or Metro North Railroad. Hold on. The savings are measured against the cost of regular one way peak and off peak tickets. For years, residents of the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens had high quality rail service right at their doorsteps, but the fare was just too high. Not anymore, Hoka said in a press release. By making LARR and Metro North service more affordable for city riders, we have welcomed millions of new customers, getting New Yorkers out of their cars and onto fast, reliable rail service in and out of Manhattan. Lisa Daglian, executive director of the MTA's Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee, said City Ticket has improved the commute of millions of people for decades. When PCAC first suggested it in 2001, we knew City Ticket would be transformative, but what we're seeing is only possible with Governor Hochul's ongoing support, she said. City Ticket saves time and money, and its permanence is a testament to its importance. We're looking forward to making City Ticket even more with a weekly option that includes a transfer to subways and buses. Fair fares, commuting for New Yorkers in need can put a major dent in their wallets. But the city's Fair Fares program is available to offer discount subway and bus fares for those who are eligible. Fair Fares provides half priced rides to low income public transit users who live at 145% of the federal poverty level. That number at this level in NYC is 22,900, excuse me, 22,692 for a single person, or $46,617 for a family of four. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Marlins lead 3-2 of the Mets. This is a close game. Anyway, I'm going to keep track of the Mets scores as I'm doing this recording, so I got y'all. Anyway, however, this is a movement to increase eligibility by raising the threshold of the federal poverty level. Fair fares has been a crucial lifeline of mobility and affordability in a city that has become far too expensive for many. Brian Fritz, associate director of PCAC, told AM New York. Yet its current eligibility threshold is too low for many of the New Yorkers who need it the most, including many minimum wage workers. Expanding the program to at least 200% of federal poverty level and to the LARR and Metro North in the city are overdue steps to making NYC more fair and equitable. Currently, a single bus or subway ride is $2.90, but the cost is expected to go to $3 in January. I'm not surprised about this shit, though. I am not fucking surprised. Man, I am not surprised about this. Yeah, yeah, of course. As I'm trying to get my soundboard set, Brendan Sproat got taken out and Gregory Soto is going to be put in. So there's a pitching change. All right. So there you go. Um. All right. Let me continue. The Staten Island Ferry. Let's get into what's going on with that one. All right. Okay, so the Staten Island Ferry is a free service provided by the NYC Department of Transportation. It travels between Whitehall Ferry Terminal in Lower Manhattan and St. George on Staten Island's North Shore. The historic ferry is not only a free way to commute, but a great way to see many iconic NYC, which is New York City sites, including the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, and breathtaking views of New York Harbor and the lower Manhattan skyline. Off peak hours are ideal for enjoying a ferry sightseeing tour. Rush hour trips are usually packed with New Yorkers commuting to and from work. This is not the best time to take a leisurely ride on the ferry. The ferry's website states, in quote, bringing large tourist groups on board during these trips will make it difficult for visitors to enjoy our great city and enjoy the ride. Please plan accordingly. Staten Island Railway, part of the MTA's NYC Transit, the Staten Island Railway is free for nearly all of its 21 stops throughout the borough. Commuters only pay for rides starting or terminating at the St. George or Tompkinsville stations. The free Q70 bus to LaGuardia Airport, known as the LaGuardia Link, this bus makes fewer stops, has luggage racks, and more seating to accommodate travelers to LaGuardia Airport. Riders can connect to the Q70 from the subway at the Woodside 61st Street on the 7 line and the 74th Street Broadway Roosevelt Avenue Jackson Heights station on the 7 EFF M, and R lines. Long Island Railroad commuters can also access the Q70 at the Woodside Station. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's see what else can we talk about here. I think that's it for the transit stuff. Um, yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the recent sinkhole that happened in the Sawmill River Parkway. All right. Now, how did it happen? I'll be glad to fill you in on what went down in this segment right here. Hold on. Yeah, in this segment right here in chatting or the jazz. All right. I want to talk about the sinkhole that happened recently. This is crazy. And a lot of times when I hear about sinkholes, it's usually caused by snow and ice, right? So we got to get into this actually. So this is very, very, very important to talk about actually. And this happened weeks ago actually. So let's get into this. And of course, this is from Fox5ny.com. So here's what's going on here. So let's see. A sinkhole on the Sawmill River Parkway closed a portion of the highway. Traffic was being rerouted to Sawmill River Road 9A. The southbound lanes were expected to be reopened by the evening. And this took place in Westchester County. A sinkhole opened up on the Sawmill River Parkway in Westchester County, closing a portion of the highway on Monday morning. Sawmill River Parkway closure today. And of course, Sky Fox was over the sinkhole that happened near Farragut Avenue in, hang on a second. Yeah, Farragut Avenue in Hastings on Hudson. This is scary, man. This is fucking scary right there, man. All right, so the Marlins lead 4-2. Just keeping track of this game right now. Um, oh boy. Anyway, this is some scary shit though. All right, so far the Marlins took the lead 6-2 over the Mets so far, and they're still in the fifth inning. All right, let me continue with this. Actually. So yeah, so all southbound lanes are closed. Yeah, I already got that part right there. Um, no, all southbound lanes are closed from Farragut Parkway, exit 12 to Lawrence Street. Northbound lanes of the Sawmill River Parkway are open. Hastings on Hudson said in the post on Facebook. Yeah. And let me see. So the southbound lanes were expected to be reopened by the evening, the post said. Yeah. So hopefully nobody was hurt. Hopefully nobody wasn't hurt though, man. And yeah, it's just but it did reopen. Hold on a second. It did reopen actually. It did reopen actually. And hold on a second. A section of the Sawmill River Parkway was closed Monday in Westchester County, and drivers were asked to avoid the area. The parkway reopened early Tuesday morning, and traffic appears to be on track for the commute. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, this is Yeah, so the New York State Department of Transportation said the damage was caused by the weekend's stormy weather. A chunk of the roadway buckled just before 7 p.m. Sunday, according to online posts by several local officials. Photos showed a large crack surrounding the perimeter of the damage as the roadway caved into the ground. While the disruption resembled a sinkhole, Department of Transportation officials weren't calling it that, saying instead it was just weather related damage. Me and my pen pal Peyton were coming around the block and I saw this lady hit the hole here, or the bump, you might call it, and she was actually airborne for about 30 feet. No exaggeration in the air, Hastings on Hudson resident Tommy McMullen said. McMullen said that car continued down the parkway. Yikes. The southbound lanes were shut down between Lawrence Street and Dobbs Ferry and Farragut Avenue in Hastings on Hudson. The disruption impacted some 47,000 drivers in both directions, according to the DOT. We immediately mobilized crews to address damage to the Sawmill Parkway at exit 13 caused by this weekend's rainy weather. The roadway was reopened northbound, and all efforts are being made to reopen the southbound lanes as possible. The DOT said in a statement. Um, delays. Hang on. Delays were expected Monday as traffic is rerouted on to Sawmill River Road 9A. Drivers could also take the New York State Thruway to the Major Deegan Expressway for an alternate route. Please make your best efforts to avoid the area as delays are expected. The Dobbs Ferry Fire Department posted. Please allow extra time when traveling as traffic congestion might be a problem. Posted Hastings on Hudson. Southbound Parkway traffic was being diverted onto Lawrence Street in Dobbs Ferry. It's very hectic. I wasn't expecting this. One driver said, over an hour, over an hour, 90 minutes, usually 30. Another driver said, adding, it was very frustrating. Very frustrating. Damn. Yeah, it's yeah, it's oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy though, man. Well, not as crazier as Chris Brown. Let's get into him. All right. According to TMZ, Chris Brown turned his Saturday night concert into a PG-13 spectacle, pulling Summer Walker on stage for a steamy performance that had fans losing their minds. The singer was in Las Vegas for the Breezy Bowl um, Double X Double X tour. Wait, Double X. Let me hold on. Let me do something here, man. With this double, let me find out what Double X stands for. Actually, hold on. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Roman numerals. You know I hate them. Anyway, wait. What in the hell? So, wait a second. Is wait so basically, for those of you who may not know, double X is used to symbolize kisses. Usually, one X is one kiss is used for friends. Two X's is two kisses for best friends or close friends, and three X's or more, three kisses or more for your partner or super close friends. But usually, people avoid using three X's because it can refer to you know what. Okay, so these are not Roman numerals. Actually, these are letter X's. So I kind of got it now. All right, so all right, let's continue here. Let's continue here. All right, so yeah, the singer was in Las Vegas for his Breezy Bowl Double X tour stop when he brought Walker up from the crowd and made her the star of his "Take You Down" number. Walker was ushered into a chair while Brown serenaded her with his slow jam, and things quickly escalated. Breezy danced around her, belting out lyrics while showing off his trademark moves. But as the song built up, he mounted Summer and grinded all over her, locking into steaming choreography. The crowd went wild, and Summer looked like she was enjoying every second. Summer laughed through the moment and even fanned herself as Chris grinded up on her, clearly playing along with the wild scene. The crowd went nuts and she looked like she was enjoying every second. To cap it off, Brown leaned in for a kiss at the end of the track, though The house lights dimmed just in time, leaving fans guessing whether their lips actually met. Last week, Chris did the very same routine with Travis Kelsey's ex, Kayla Nicole, during the Los Angeles stop on his tour. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was. And five things every artist should do according to rapper turned manager or producer, however you call this. Anyway, and this is according to Fresher. Um, yeah, there you have it. Okay, this is from All Hip Hop. All right, so let's get into this. So, rapper turned manager Fresher shares five must know strategies every up and coming artist needs to hold on a second. Needs to hold on a second. Hold on. Rapper turned manager Fresher shares five must know strategies every up and coming artist needs to survive and thrive in today's music industry. Um, so talent alone isn't enough in today's music industry. Damn. Plain and simple. Much more is required of artists in this climate. Artists need strategy, presence, and adaptability to stand out. Fresher, a one-time Brooklyn rapper, was known for hits like "Wait a Minute" and collaborations with Remy Ma and Eminem. But now Fresher is making waves in artist development and management. Trading in the mic for now, he's focused on mentoring the next generation and helping young artists navigate the game. Let's see. The path to success looks drastically different than it did just a few short years ago. Artists today have to be part musician, part content creator, and a whole brand. Fresher chatted with all hip hop's Chuck Jigsaw Creekmore and dropped real gems for artists trying to make it. Number one, don't be afraid to pivot. Fresher isn't retired from music, but he is evolving. And he said a lot of people are afraid to pivot, he said. But I saw a loophole in the game, artist development. His move into management wasn't just about paperwork and booking shows. It's about building artists from the ground up. If your path changes, adjust your playbook, but keep the passion. Number two, artist development is everything. Being an artist is way more than just making music. Fresher stresses showing up, knowing how to talk, interview, and most importantly, how to respect the game. You got to be outside, touch the people. You can't win being Hollywood at home. The grind doesn't stop, but you have to be professional in all the ways these days. Number three, move beyond Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube matter. Instagram doesn't matter, Fresher declared. Build your TikTok, build your YouTube. TikTok and YouTube give artists the best shot at organic reach, fan building, and relevance. Stop chasing likes, start building impacts. Number four, stream and collaborate. Every artist should be a streamer now, he said. Whether it's Twitch, YouTube, YouTube Live, or IG Live, fans want to see you. New artists should stream your lifestyle and your music in those streams. Also, don't limit collabs to your own circle. You have to step outside your neighborhood and build bridges. And number five, be you unapologetically. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time, Fresher said. Um, let me see. Come on. Um, hold on a second. Um, yeah, yeah. Number five, be you unapologetically. You can't fit in and stand out at the same time, Fresher said. He likens each artist to the uniqueness of fingerprints. Individuality is a superpower. Authenticity separates timeless artists from temporary ones. Bonus, out of sight, out of mind, he implored. Stay visible. Events, interviews, and streams all matter for your brand. Whether you are just getting started or leveling up, Fresher's advice is a masterclass in artist longevity. Be strategic, be active, be yourself. All that is true, all that is true and all, but I feel like a lot of times when some music artists use TikTok, I feel like they just do it to to get noticed so quick instead of putting in the hard work and stuff. But that discussion will be for another time, actually. All right. So, I want to get into. And speaking of social media, man, TikTok, TikTok, and Instagram are trying to get into the TV stuff. Let's see. And this is from NY Mag. Okay, so let's see. So one funny thing about the streaming wars is that for nearly as long as they've been happening, TV viewing in general, the ritual of sitting on a couch staring into the screen has been going through a crisis of its own. Sure, Netflix was battling HBO Max and eating away at cable, and the stakes were high. But also, plenty of people were just looking at their phones, scrolling through social media, texting with their friends, or shopping for socks. For a while, TV executives fretted about losing attention to second screens. Eventually, some of them started talking about TV as the second screen. Meanwhile, the boundary between these modes of consumption got fuzzier. People were watching longer stuff on smaller screens and shorter stuff on bigger screens. Netflix got into mobile games and started experimenting with social media style video feeds. In January, Nielsen reported that YouTube had beaten out Netflix as the most watched service on actual televisions. In 2025, the future of TV is video podcast. YouTube's TV takeover has its own strange context. On smartphones, the company spent years pushing creators to make a TikTok style short videos, and nudging users to TikTok style endless scrolling. At the same time, TikTok and Instagram, which had been turned into a TikTok clone, were experimenting with longer YouTube style videos. With that in mind, this report from Kayla Yuri F and Kaylee Huang at the information sort of makes sense. Meta platforms leaders have said they are planning to develop a version of the Instagram app designed for TVs, according to a person with direct knowledge of the discussions. That app could show content like its reels, short form videos. Staff at TikTok, meanwhile, have been strategizing over the last 6 months about how to launch a new TV app tailored for big screen viewing. TikTok has been allowing longer videos and for a while now, and Instagram attempts as well. Remember IGTV? No. Of the two companies which are chasing after user attention generally, but higher TV ad rates specifically, TikTok is probably in the better position here. Creators generally see it as the better platform, not just for rapidly building a profile, but for actually making money. TikTok, like YouTube, pays some creators directly. I'll bet typically at lower rates, which will help if TikTok expects them to invest time and effort into longer programming. It's also a bet, though, that people will just watch TikTok as it already exists, just like on their TVs, streaming TVs, and the endless feed of TikTok videos might be formally different, but in a grim, abstract sense, the sense that matters most to companies build on advertising. They are really pretty similar passive video consumption platforms on which heavy viewers spend multiple hours per day. It also opens some exciting frontiers in prefrontal cortex destruction. You could watch Instagram Reels on the big screen while you half watch a video of a podcast on a small one. You could scroll through TikTok on the TV with YouTube picture in picture on the phone, all while texting. Or of course, you could just strap on a VR headset and turn the lights out for good. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get to more topics here. Hold on a second here. The hell's going on here? All right. All right. Next, we gotta talk about let me see. Okay. We gotta talk about the Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola collaboration mix. All right. This one is an interesting one. This one is an interesting one right here. And this is from the Daily Poor. Oh man. So according to the Daily Poor, Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola announced on Monday that vanilla ready to drink cocktail is returning as a limited edition release. The 7% ABV can beverage is available nationwide in 4 packs with 12-ounce cans at a suggested retail price of $12.99. Oof. All right, so um, to get a better understanding, the drinks combine Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey with Coca Cola vanilla and is Jack Daniel's latest move into the growing ready to drink segment. Jack Daniel's Coca Cola Vanilla first appeared in March as part of the Jack and Coke variety pack, joining the classic Jack and Coca Cola and a cherry variant. Coca Cola Vanilla brings forward the classic vanilla notes in Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey to create a unique layered flavor that's perfect for the season. Jack Daniel's RTD brand director Mary Beth O'Mara said in a news release, in quote, whether at fall gatherings or game day watch parties, we hope our friends will reach for Jack and Coke Vanilla to make every moment more memorable. The company said the timing of the release aims to align with fall gatherings and football tailgating, a key sales period for RTDs. No information was provided on how long the product will remain on shelves. Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola first launched their RTD collaboration in 2022, rolling out the flagship Jack and Coke in the US and other markets. Scan any liquor bottle to see all expert reviews in one place with the free Daily Pour app. You can download it today. You can even follow them on social media, which is TikTok, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. One more topic we gotta talk about involves Jimmy Kimmel. Hang on a second, if I can find it. I want to actually talk about his return. Hang on one second. Here we go. Here we go. So, according to according to Variety, here's what's happening here. Jimmy Kimmel will have more to say on late night TV. Disney and ABC will bring the comedian back to its own schedule starting Tuesday night after a decision to take his show down. His after a decision to take his show Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air for an indefinite period of time. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It is a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. The company said in a statement, we spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. Disney's decision to bench one of its signature personalities came after two major station owners, Nexstar Media and Sinclair, said they would preempt his program following a Kimmel monologue last Monday, during which he offered remarks tied to the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Those announcements came after Federal Communications Commission Chair Brandon Carr appeared to suggest to broadcasters they ought to work to curb Kimmel and force ABC to remove him from the schedule. You know what's funny about the fucking FCC and Brandon Carr? He's a fucking hypocrite. The nerve of the hypocrisy, man, to actually go along with this stupid cancel culture bullshit. Anyway, and yet, after Kimmel was taken off the air, Disney faced protests from the creative community. On Monday, 400 celebrities, including people like Martin Short and Tom Hanks, who have created memorable characters for Disney in the recent past, signed a letter from the American Civil Liberties Union decrying the blow the maneuver delivered to free speech in America. First Amendment advocates from both sides of the political aisle have decried the situation in recent days. The decision to bring Kimmel back was approved by Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, and Dana Walden, co-chair of Disney Entertainment, according to a person familiar with the matter. The executives acted based on what was best for the company, this person said, and not on external factors. Indeed, it remains unclear if all ABC affiliates will air Kimmel's program. Spokespersons for Nexstar and Sinclair could not be reached for immediate comment. It is not clear if Kimmel will offer an apology for his remarks, but whatever he and Disney executives agreed to have him do will be seen Tuesday night. He's not gonna fucking apologize, man. So you gotta get a fucking grip on yourselves, man. Chill out, man. You gotta relax on this bullshit. Anyway, in the past, late night hosts have had to tender apologies for remarks that offended, with David Letterman, Bill Maher, and Samantha Bee among those who had to express regret for jokes or one liner that caused more outrage than laughter. I actually talked about this whole craziness in a previous episode. 422. Y'all want to check it out? Make sure y'all check it out as well. And I actually was expressing myself on how I feel about Jimmy Kimmel's situation. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, so the comedian offended conservatives by discussing some of the theories about Kirk's death caused by an assassin who shot him in Utah. We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang trying to characterize this kid who killed Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, Kimmel said. He also poked fun at Cheeseface President 47's response to a question from the press about how he was mourning Kirk's death after President 40 Cheeseface President 47 pivoted to a discussion of the construction of a new White House ballroom. Disney's decision to take Kimmel off the air put a new spotlight on how uncertain traditional media companies have become in an era when the White House and the Federal Communications Commission pounce on individual reports with comments and legal pushback. Hang on. All right. Cheeseface President 47 has in recent months sued both ABC News and CBS News for comments made by ABC News anchor George Stephanopoulos and the editing of an interview with former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes. In both cases, the companies agreed to pay multi-million-dollar settlements, even though the legal cases were deemed to be quite flimsy by experts. In a different era, late night hosts were more measured in their commentary. Johnny Carson famously kept his politics to himself while poking fun at whoever happened happened to be in the White House. In recent years, however, hot talk and political humor have driven social media chatter and viral pass along and ratings. Meanwhile, the audiences for the programs have begun to dwindle, with an increasing number of would be viewers opting to sift through clips of the various shows on social media the day after the original episodes air. Stephen Colbert's Late Show on CBS has been the most watched of TV late night programs as the host followed a theme of commenting on the latest headlines. For a good part of Colbert's tenure on TV, Cheeseface President 47 has been at the center of them. Such dynamics may be poised to cease. Paramount is getting out of the late night business and has canceled Colbert's late night show, which will end in May of next year. While the company cited a downturn in advertising, there continue to be suspicious. Excuse me. There continue to be suspicions that Paramount Skydance's new leader, David Ellison, wants to tamp down political sniping and is eager to cater to a more conservative base. Kimmel's return to wee hours TV gives the comedian a little more time to enjoy his work. His current contract with ABC is expected to end in 2026, and people familiar with the hosts thinking say he's been mulling stepping down from the role at some point in the near future, whether that's next year or after one or more new contract cycles remains to be seen. So, all right. All right. So, congratulations on Jimmy Kimmel's return to his Jimmy Kimmel Live late night talk show. Now, as far as retirement, that will be to be determined. All right. And I'm actually glad that a lot of people, including protesters, had his back. So, 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 congratulations to those who actually reached out to Jimmy Kimmel. All right, so let's see. All right, all right. Okay, we need to talk about The Rock, man. He has a biopic called The Smashing Machine, which I'm going to actually get into in this segment right here in in the Movie Man K Popcorn segment. Here we go. Hold on. Here's what's happening with The Rock. Um, for those of you who may or may not know what happened here, let me break this down actually. So, so of course, this is from Variety. Um, is Dwayne The Rock Johnson headed for the Oscars? Judging by the judging by the rap tourist reaction of his performance as wrestler Mark Kerr in The Smashing Machine at the Venice Film Festival on Monday night. That seems to be the consensus out of Italy. The 53-year-old actor sobbed uncontrollably as the audience on the Lido erupted into 15-minute standing ovation, one of the longest at this year's festival so far. Johnson, who once performed as the WWE wrestler known as The Rock, has been the star of such commercial farce. Excuse me, excuse me. Commercial. Hold on. Yeah, commercial fare as The Mummy, Black Adam, and Baywatch. But he goes much deeper in his next project, which will be released by A24 in November as a 90s fighter with demons. Johnson stars opposite Johnson stars opposite Emily Blunt in the film, who plays Kerr's girlfriend, Dawn Staples. During the ovation, Benny Safdie, the film's director, hugged both um, his stars and joined Johnson in shedding tears of joy as the clapping continued. Adding to the waterworks, Kerr also wept as the credits rolled. As the boot as the hooting and cheering stretched on, the Smashing Machine proved to be the most emotional premiere on the Lido since Brendan Fraser collapsed into tears 4 years ago, launching his Oscar campaign for The Whale. Yeah. Of course, this topic is for Wardy NYM on YouTube, who is a Mets fan who covers post games and other Mets news related stories. Um, Before the screening started, one fan shouted Johnson's signature WWE line, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" prompting laughter from the man of the hour. Oh shit. Johnson was in good spirits throughout the night. He worked one of Europe's most glamorous red carpets, signing autographs for fans and snapping selfies. This year's 82nd of Venice has been packed with stars ranging from George Clooney to Julia Roberts to Emma Stone and Johnson and Blunt added to the list, the A-list wattage of the festival that's now known as the official launch of award season. Award season. Johnson is nearly unrecognizable. The Smashing Machine undergoing pounds of prosthetics to portray the beefy two-time UFC heavyweight champ. The actor previously told Variety that he was drawn to the Smashing Machine because Safdie is someone who continues to push the envelope when it comes to stories that are raw and real, characters that are authentic and at times uncomfortable and arresting. End quote. I'm at a point in my career where I want to push myself in ways that I've not pushed myself in the past, said Johnson. Best known for franchise fare like Jumanji and the Fast and the Furious movies. I want to make films that matter, that explore humanity and explore struggle and pain. The Smashing Machine marks the solo feature directorial debut of Safdie, who worked with his older brother Josh on indie favorites like um, Good Time and Uncut Gems. Josh will also make his solo feature debut this year with A24's Marty Supreme, a sports drama starring Timothy Chalamet. Um, yeah, Timothy Chalamet. Yes, so the Smashing Machine reunites Benny Safdie and Blunt, who shared a memorable scene in Christopher Nolan's historic epic Oppenheimer, as well as Johnson and Blunt, who co-starred in Disney's action adventure Jungle Cruise. In case anybody's wondering when the Smashing Machine movie is coming out, it's coming out October the 3rd, which is next Friday, all right? And of course, this one is for you, Wardy. The Smashing Machine is going to be coming out October the 3rd, which is next Friday. And if you plan on seeing it, don't forget. Don't forget to check it out. All right. In other movie news, let's talk about every film coming to Netflix. Fall is just around the corner, and with it comes three things: the return of pumpkin spice lattes, sweater weather, and a thrilling new slate of movies hitting Netflix soon. Whether you are in search of the perfect film for a cozy night in or a holiday crowd pleaser to share with family, this season's lineup has something for every mood and every viewer. Drama lovers have plenty to get excited about, from Guillermo del Toro's long awaited Frankenstein to Catherine um, Bigelow's tense thriller, A House of Dynamite. Plus, Noah um, Bomb Bomb um, Bombach's star powered Jay Kelly, um, which pairs George Clooney with Adam Sandler, and Clint Bentley's poignant Train Dreams. Prefer to mix things up. You'll find murder mysteries. Benoit Blanc is back on the case in Ryan Johnson's Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Animated adventures, the magical in your dreams, a psychological suspense. Edward Berger's Ballad of a Small Player, starring Colin Farrell. Love stories, Ruth and Boaz, produced by Devon Franklin and Tyler Perry. Foreign language gems, the Taiwan set family, left-handed girl, and Nouvelle Vague set in France. And a variety of new documentaries for fans of the investigative kind. Gita Gambir's the perfect neighbor, or the more intimate Eddie, yes, as in Murphy. And as autumn edges towards the holidays, the festive fare begins. You'll want to curl up by the fire with four charming seasonal rom-coms on the wish list this year. A Merry Little Xmas starring Alicia Silverstone, Champagne Problems led by Mika Kelly, Jingle Bell Heist featuring Olivia Holt, and My Secret Santa with Alexandra Breckenridge. All right, so that's actually, so let's see. So you got Ron Paris actually. You have Ruth and Boaz, French Lover, and in October you got Steve, The Woman in Cabin 10. Um, not sure what that means, but anyway, She Walks into Darkness. Oh boy. Um, you got The Twits. You have The Perfect Neighbor, House of Dynamite, October 24th. Obviously, Idris Alba is in this movie. That's an R-rated movie. Let's see. Anthony Ramos, Rebecca Ferguson, Gabriel Basso, Jared Harris, Tracy Letts, Moses Ingram, Jonah Howard King with Greta Lee and Jason Clark. Also starring Malachi Beasley, Brian T, Brittany O'Grady, G. Benga, Akin Akinagbe, Willa Fitzgerald, Renee Elise Goldsberry, Kyle Allen, and Caitlin Dever. Okay. Ballad of a Small Player, October 29th. Select theaters, October 15th. Shit. Okay, hold on. Frankenstein comes out in also comes out. Wow, comes out in November actually. So November, you got Merry Little Xmas, In Your Dreams, um, Champagne Problems. There's let me see, Train Dreams. Oh man. And let me see, Jingle Bell Heist. Oh boy. Left Handed Girl. And December Troll 2. This is different from the cartoon animated movie. This is different. My Secret Santa. You have Jay Kelly. Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery, of course. Goodbye June. Of course, coming soon. Eddie. I'm not sure exactly what this is about. But anyway, this is from Netflix.com. You can check it out for yourselves of the types of movies that's coming out in the months of September, October, November, December, and of course coming soon, hopefully next year. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of some movies that got delayed. All right, the Spawn movie reboot. Hold on. All right, the Spawn reboot. Let's talk about this. This is from Slash Film. Outside of Marvel or DC, it's tough to find a more impactful comic book superhero than that of Spawn.
Created by former Marvel Comics superstar Todd McFarlane, Spawn served as one the big launch titles for Image Comics. Um, it was a massive genre redefining IP. Um, yeah. Let me see. Let me see. With the comic book series still going strong to this day, Spawn was even big enough to get a big budget live action movie adaptation from New Line Cinema in 1997. Unfortunately, the film didn't do well critically or commercially. Ever since then, McFarlane has been highly productive of the Spawn character and understandably so, even holding off on discussing a new movie until roughly 2009. Later in 2016, McFarlane revealed he had finished a script for a new Spawn film. A year after, the horror maestros at Blumhouse Productions signed on to produce the project, with McFarlane slated to write and direct the Spawn movie himself. Thus began one of the most tumultuous journeys through development hell in modern cinema history. Recently, McFarlane provided an update to comicbook.com during the 2025 San Diego Comic Con, hinting that the project is still in the works and that he and the film's other creators are now in discussions with a new A-list director. Still, nothing is set in stone. That being the case, we're going to go over the entire timeline of the movie's journey through development hell, year by year. Buckle up because it's a ride. So, 2017, Spawn is hyped up as a low budget R rated horror movie. On May 1st, 2017, McFarlane first revealed his completed Spawn script to the world just ahead of San Diego Comic Con before the Blumhouse deal was announced. Despite never having directed before, the comic book creator was insistent that he maintain creative control, which Blumhouse agreed to. We'll get into this later, but much has changed since that deal was signed. In July 2017, McFarlane began hyping up Spawn as an R-rated horror movie, more akin to Jaws as opposed to a big-budget superhero film. He suggested Twitch, a detective from the comics, would perhaps be the main character. Twitch is the role in this one, and I sort of refer to him as my Sheriff Brody, who is the sheriff in the Jaws movie. Although it was called Jaws, Jaws didn't really talk a lot in his movie, right? McFarlane said at the time. Later that year in October, Blumhouse head Jason Blum reaffirmed his decision to allow McFarlane to direct the film. We've had a great back and forth around developing the script, Blum said at the time. I would have done it. I would have done it if I didn't think he could do a great job. Just a couple of days later, McFarlane said his Spawn movie would be dark and R-rated, and not R-rated like 2016's Deadpool, which was a massive hit with a couple of F-bombs and a couple of bare asses. He also suggested it would have a much lower budget, perhaps in the $10 million range. 2018, the Spawn movie begins at an A-list talent. It was reported in May 2018 that Oscar winner Jamie Foxx was set to star in Spawn as Al Simmons, the man who is killed and brought back as an undead Avenger of sorts in the original comics. In in a further in the further star power flex, Jeremy Renner was in talks to play Twitch Williams in the movie come July 18th. Twitch is a quirky detective who has had a role in the comics since the earliest days. of the title's publication. Rewinding the clocks just slightly in June 2018, McFarlane further illustrated his ambitions for the project, suggesting that a crossover with Venom could be in the cards under the right circumstances. Yeah. Um Under the right circumstances. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna really hold on a minute here. Right circumstances. Okay, so what if Sony distributes Spawn? Then is it possible that in the future Sony could have a crossover with Venom and Spawn? It's possible, McFarlane said at the time. I will be presenting that possibility to the Sony executives when we get ready. This was before the Venom films became a $1 billion franchise, but since McFarlane co created the famed Spider Man villain, it's easy to see why he was proposing the crossover. In August 2018, it was reported that special effects maestro Greg Nicotero was also boarding the Spawn reboot. Having previously worked on the 97 version, um, yeah, the big thing that 2018 proved was that McFarlane and Blumhouse were aiming high. 2019, Todd McFarlane asserts it's his way or the highway with Spawn. Oh wow. When Blumhouse signed on to produce Spawn, it should have been clear that nobody intended for this to be a traditional superhero movie. There's gonna be no fun lines in it, and it's just gonna be this dark, ugly 2 hours worth of movie, which is essentially what a lot of supernatural horror movies are anyway. McFarlane said while discussing Spawn in a January 2019 interview, there's not a lot of funny in them. And that seems hang on. Hold on a second. Let me see. Where was I? Yeah. And that seems to be a weird hurdle for a lot of people in this city to get over because they sort of go into a superhero Avengers default all the time. Superhero movies were arguably at their plan. Excuse me. Superhero movies were arguably at their peak. So McFarlane going out on a limb made some sense. Unfortunately, convincing the money people to take a big swing wasn't as easy. In May 2019 interview, McFarlane explained that he was prepared to walk away if need to be, saying the following: "The money's sitting on the sidelines ready to go. I just need to get everyone that wants to put in money to shake their heads to the same script. As you can imagine, everyone has a slightly different version of it in their head. You just go and trying to appease a handful of people while not giving in to what it is that I'm trying to do myself. Because if I have to change it too much, I'll just walk away from it all." In a different May 2019 interview with Sci-Fi Wire, the comic book legend made it clear that Spawn wouldn't actually be in the Spawn movie all that much. A lot of people reading the script go, I need to see more of him. I keep saying he's just my boogeyman in this movie, and then once we get to part two, then he'll come full flight into the afternoon light. But in the first one, he's hiding in the shadows until it's the right time to come out. 2020, Spawn loses talent and steam, but adds different talent. 2020 arrived. When 2020 arrived, everything changed. Hollywood was effectively shut down for months because of the COVID-19 slamdemic, which naturally impacted Spawn in March 2020, just as the slamdemic was truly taking hold. It was reported that Jamie Foxx had left the Spawn reboot. Still, in spite of the setback, the success of 2019's Joker had given McFarlane confidence, with the creator saying, in quote, Hollywood is a different place right now. They understand the value of what Spawn can bring to a reasonable budget. Joker lit the fire. Until up until now, it felt like I was pushing up the boulder on my own. But now there are others joining me who know that these stories should be told. As one might expect, 2020 relatively quiet on the Spawn front. But in August 2020 interview on Joe Q's morning warm up with Joe Quesada, McFarlane teased that the movie was gaining momentum and adding hold on adding talent without being overly specific. Hmm. I can tell you right now. Hold on, hang on 1 second. I can tell you right now there is momentum going on Spawn, the movie. He said at the time, um, the things you need to do eventually get to the point where you are going to get into production once COVID allows us to get into production. All those things are going on right now, and we're adding talent, big talent that we haven't announced yet. 2021 Spawn's universe expands while the movie sits in development hell. Development hell. Oh wow, it is crazy, man. With development hell, it is crazy though, man. It is crazy. I get it. All right. In February 2021, Image Comics announced the publication of Spawn's Universe, a new comic book that would launch a full universe of comic stories based on the Spawn character, including Gunslinger Spawn, King Spawn, and Medieval Spawn. The the character's universe was expanding, yet the Spawn film reboot was still trapped in development hell. Speaking with comicbook.com that same month, McFarlane said, in quote, we just added another person. Movement is happening. We crossed a threshold literally last week. He declined to get more specific. We have designs. Greg Nicotero confirmed in a July 2021 interview reviewing that McFarlane said, I wanted to feel more like the animated show where it's like Spawn meets David Fincher. Nicotero also noted that the project has stalled. Then in August 2021, it was reported that Brian Tucker had signed on to write Spawn, taking over duties from McFarlane. This was one of the first signs of the latter relinquishing some control. In a November 2021 interview, McFarlane even hinted at a possible Spawn cinematic universe thanks to the expansion of the comics. End quote. If you are looking for properties that are out there that are superhero that are intertwined or whatever else, and you wanted to base it on sales and branding and how it's done over the years at the top of the chart, it's Spawn and his world. Hang on. It's Spawn and his world right now, and nothing is close. Nothing is close. 2022 Spawn goes nowhere fast. This is the period where this project truly seemed to languish. It was all talk and no show. Something's going to give in the next few months, right? There's too many people pushing in that direction, McFarlane said to Bleeding Cool in an April 2022 interview. We'll never get to the top of the mountain if we can't do it now. With everybody wanting to do it now, fingers crossed, I would say it's now or never. Despite McFarlane's words, it wasn't then and it's still not never. In July 2022, during San Diego Comic Con, McFarlane once spoke again with comicbook.com and teased that a Spawn streaming series might be possible, but we had reservations. My only hesitation for that kind of deal right now is that there's no data that I can think of that somebody's been able to build a movie franchise starting as a streaming series, he said at the time. In August 2022, despite at the point supposedly not starring in the movie, Fox teased his involvement once again and the costume that McFarlane had been cooking up. I've seen a lot of concepts, Fox said to comicbook.com. He crafts that cape and how that cape becomes almost like, I'll say this, as big as the screen that you are watching. Then in October 2022, the project was once again met with a major shakeup as a trio of writers in the forms of Scott Silver, Malcolm Spellman, and newcomer Matt Mixon were hired to rewrite the script for Spawn. Not only was this McFarlane relinquishing more control, but it's also unusual for three writers to be hired to work on a movie at the same time. 2023, Jason Blum predicts a release date for Spawn. Um, Whatever McFarlane's plans may have been for a low budget Spawn that he was going to direct went out the window by early 2023. My original plan has gotten tripped up a bit, he admitted in an interview of March that year with comicbook.com, claiming that several A-listers had joined the project, which led to the change, per McFarlane. What they are not going to want is to do a cheap, low budget movie with all of these big name people on it. That's not why they are signing up. They are not looking for a big extravaganza, but they are also not looking for an $8 million horror movie budget. In June of that year, Blumhouse head Jason Blum told comicbook.com that Spawn was in very active development, while adding, my prediction is maybe we'll actually see a Spawn movie in 25, no promises. But that's my prediction. That prediction would not come to pass. The big thing that happened in 2023 was the months long Writers Guild of America strike, which coincided with the Screen Actors Guild strike. This once again brought work on Spawn to a halt for months. McFarlane noted that the writers were pretty far along to comicbook.com in September of that year, saying we were in the middle of writing the script and then the writers' strike came. So that basically came to a screeching halt. 2024, Tom McFarlane and Jason Blum expressed confidence in Spawn. In 2024, in a 2024 interview with Screen Rant, Blum said screenwriter Scott Silver was hoping to do something different and dangerous with Spawn, and that it couldn't just be Marvel light. He also noted that he doesn't want to do horror because that is its own thing. What does that mean exactly? We still don't know. I feel more confident now at any point in the process, given all the dynamics that are there right now. McFarlane said to comicbook.com in May of 2024, I'm excited, man. I can't wait for it. His excitement stemmed in part from the R-rated Deadpool and Wolverine, which went on to make $1.3 billion at the box office. Still, so far, we can tell it didn't help get Spawn moving forward. Hmm. All right. Then on July 22nd, 2024, Blumhouse shared an official script over no, an official script cover on its Instagram page, boosting the title King Spawn. This suggested that the movie was going to take inspiration from the comic of the same name that launched in 2021. However, it was later revealed this was probably just a working title and not the actual title of the movie. So why share it in such an official capacity? That remains a mystery. And now in 2025, what comes next for the Spawn movie reboot? So let's see. Hold on. So where does that leave us in 2025? Things are still largely languishing, where they've been languishing with McFarlane, promising that stuff is happening behind the scenes, yet nothing has materialized. No studio is officially attached to distribute the film, and there is no timeline for production. It might be getting closer to finding a director, though. I went and met with a director. We want to sign them. They gave me the numbers last week. We've given it to them. Hopefully, he signs on. McFarlane said in his July 2025 interview with comicbook.com, the contract went out literally last week. I'm here to tell you it's an A-list director. McFarlane declined to say who the director is, but it's not him. And that's a far cry from where this all started 8 years ago. Spawn remains without a release date, but stay tuned. Anyway, this will be to be determined. All right. To be determined. Now we go to the Mortal Kombat 2 delay. According to Cinema Bland, fans of 8 Fight Fatalities just got hit with some bad news when they've learned that the release of the highly anticipated Mortal Kombat 2 will be delayed into May. That said, is it actually bad news? As a big fan of the franchise myself, I've actually been mulling over this decision to move the movie into the summer, and I actually think there are some huge positives as well as some heavy negatives. So, what's good and bad about moving Mortal Kombat 2 from October of this year to May of next year? Well, here's a breakdown. First and foremost, let's talk about why it's bad. Mortal Kombat 2 will now be coming out closer in release to the Street Fighter movie. First of all, the Street Fighter reboot movie is scheduled to come out on October 16th, 2026, and I am so freaking pumped for it. As a big fan of both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, I've had my fair share of debates on which is the better fighting franchise. However, one benefit that Mortal Kombat 2 had in coming out this year rather than next was that it was far enough away from the Street Fighter reboot that people didn't need to have such frivolous arguments, because people are going to be comparing the two movies now that they are only going to be released 6 months apart. Don't even get me started on whether Mortal Kombat 2 is bad. It probably won't be, um, given the early enthusiasm for test screenings. But just think, shit. If this film isn't as good as people hope that it is, then that's going to be a big win for the Street Fighter reboot. The Street Fighter reboot, as Capcom enthusiasts are going to have even more fuel for the yoga fire of why Street Fighter will always be superior to Mortal Kombat, even when it comes to movies. I mean, I really had to come around on that 2021 Mortal Kombat movie. And if this next film is also kind of middling, then as much as I don't want to do it since it's childish and petty, I'll likely also be comparing Mortal Kombat 2 to the Street Fighter reboot. You can take the boy out of the schoolyard, but you can't always take the schoolyard out of the boy, even when they are grown ass adults. Okay, first of all, Mortal Kombat 2 and the Street Fighter reboot movie, they're two different stories. From my understanding, from what Chris from 3C Films was talking about when it came to the Street Fighter reboot movie, it's basically, I think the synopsis is basically talking about that it's going to take place. It's going to take place in 1993 with Mortal Kombat 2. With Mortal Kombat 2, it's going to be a whole different story. I don't know the synopsis with the sequel, but I may have to look into it actually. But anyway, but anyway, anyway. So right. So that's the negative side of things. Um, why it's possibly good if the Street Fighter movie is bad, then MK will look even better if it's good. Okay, so let's flip it. Say Mortal Kombat 2 is good. I'm talking one of the best video game movies ever made. Good. Got that? Okay, now let's say that the upcoming Street Fighter movie reboot is bad. I'm not talking the Street Fighter, I'm not talking the 1994 Street Fighter movie bad, which some people actually like. I'm talking Street Fighter The Legend of Chun Li bad. What then? Well, I think having Mortal Kombat 2 so close to the release of Street Fighter could possibly be a good thing, man. Could be a good thing then. Because it will only make MK look even better if the Street Fighter movie is terrible. Because that's the thing, right? It almost feels like one of them is destined to be good and one of them is destined to be bad. Maybe leave that feeling to the video games having such poor track records in the past, or the fact that both Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter really haven't had much luck in theaters when it comes to live action adaptations. Although the movie is beloved, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is heavily mocked. Um, though though I find it entertaining. The 2021 film received mixed reviews. Street Fighters had even less luck, with most people thinking that there's never been a good Street Fighter film. So if MK2 is awesome and Street Fighter is abysmal, then that could be a win for Mortal Kombat, especially with it so close to release for comparison's sake. Why it's bad fans were pumped for this movie. Sometimes making people wait turns out to be a good thing. Like take the recent game Hollow Knight Silk Song, for example. Fans have been waiting for a Hollow Knight sequel ever since 2019, and now that it's arrived, excitement is at a fever pitch. But Silk Song is an exception rather than the rule, and usually making people wait is a negative rather than a positive. Now sources say that Warner Brothers Pictures New Line Cinema and Atomic Monster saw the excitement for the movie following the trailer and thought that it was a better idea to release the film as a summer movie rather than a fall one. But I fear that might backfire because yeah, people will likely still see MK in May, but all of that excitement might not be as massive at might excuse me might not be as massive a few months down the line. Sure, they could release another trailer closer to the release to drum up excitement again, but will it be as high as it was the last time we saw this trailer and were excited about the possibilities? Maybe. I don't know. I wonder if it would have just been better to stick to the original date. I guess only time will tell. Why it's good? It has more. Hold on. It has more distance from the relatively unpopular game Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, so this is something that you might not know if you are only interested in movies rather than video games. But the most recent MK game, Mortal Kombat 1, was not as well received as it could have been. In fact, even though Street Fighter 6, hang on a second. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Yeah, in fact, even though Street Fighter 6 will continue to get new DLC characters, Mortal Kombat 1 won't, as neither realm will be moving on to other projects, which kind of sucks. I mean, yeah, I dropped off of MK1 a while ago, but I still wish that it had a thriving community, which it apparently doesn't. And having a new movie so close to the stink of the last game might not have been a good thing, because while most MK fans would have likely still seen the movie in October, there are a still lot of casual players who picked up MK1 who might have been so turned off by their purchase of that game that they wouldn't even want to see a movie, even if it has nothing to do with the wacky, yes, wacky storyline presented in Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but I really do think that MK as a franchise is kind of hurting right now. And maybe distancing the movie from the last game could be beneficial to the film. Food for thought. Why it's bad. May 2026 already looks to have some heavy hitters. Lastly, do you know what's coming out in October of this year? The Smashing Machine, Tron Ares, and Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere, amongst a few others. Honestly, I think Mortal Kombat 2 would have fit in nicely if it had stayed with its October 24th release date. It might have even been the biggest movie of next month. Now, do you know what's slated to come out in May 2026? The Devil Wears Prada 2 and The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, while you might say totally different audiences, I'm not disagreeing with you. However, with many people choosing to stay home and stream these days rather than rush out to see movies in theaters, um, people are often more choosy about what they spend money on in theaters. Mortal Kombat 2 might now have competition with one of those two films, especially The Mandalorian and Grogu, and it wouldn't have had that issue in October. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the move of Mortal Kombat 2 being moved to what is it? May what is it? May 16th, 2026. 2026. Actually I actually saw that release date actually. That's pretty much the new release date of that. All right. So yeah, there you go right there. And of course, of course let's talk about the recent movie that came out over the summer. Um, Spike Lee is praising ASAP Rocky's acting skills while appearing on on the Thursday July 31st episode of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Lee, age 68, said, "Yeah, don't sleep on ASAP. In this film, Denzel and ASAP go toe to toe. What's interesting is even before I got involved with the film, I always thought that ASAP looked like he could be Denzel's son. So when you see it on the screen, it adds an element of father and son." Lee then revealed that he has seen other actions feel a lot of pressure when working with Denzel Washington, but that ASAP 30, age 36 held his own. "Don't sleep on ASAP," he began. He began. "I've done 5 films with Denzel, and a lot of times when he's in a scene with somebody, they just get overwhelmed. He's one of the greatest living actors today, but ASAP wasn't having that. Toe to toe, I mean, they were going at it." Highest to Lowest is a neo noir crime thriller based on Kurosawa's 1963 Japanese language film High and Low, which was in turn based on the 1959 novel King's Ransom by Ed McBain. The rapper plays Washington's son in the New York City set film. The character is an aspiring rapper while Washington runs a successful record label, stacking hits, and is the heir to Quincy Jones per Billboard. Of course, the film will also star Ice Spice, Jeffrey Wright, Michael Potts, Dean Winters, Jensen McRae, and more. You can check out Highest to Lowest. That's in that's in theaters right now. It's R rated actually. It's R rated. You can check it out in theaters, and it's also on Apple TV Plus right now. Make sure you go check it out. The Conjuring Last Rites. The Conjuring Last Rites has just crossed a new Warner Brothers milestone, surpassing the studio's third best Terminator movie. Directed by Michael Chaves, the fourth installment in the hit Conjuring franchise hit theaters earlier this month. Chronicling Ed and Lorraine Warren's final case. With both Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga returning, Last Rites has been a big hit so far. Despite mixed reviews from critics, the film opened to $194 million worldwide, setting a new franchise record and becoming the biggest opening ever for a horror film. This weekend, The Conjuring Last Rites grossed an additional $12.9 million, bringing its domestic total to $151.1 million. For Warner Brothers, this means the film has now surpassed the domestic total of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, which stands at $150.3 million per the numbers. Hmm. Yeah. Um, Terminator 3's domestic box office listed above has not been adjusted for inflation. What this means for The Conjuring Last Rites. Made on an estimated budget of $55 million, The Conjuring Last Rites could be looking at a break even point of around $137 million. Having beaten this in the opening weekend alone, the film is already highly profitable for Warner Brothers, and it speaks to just how much audience interest there still remains in the larger Conjuring universe. Um, the film's latest milestone comes as the critical response remains tepid. The Conjuring Last Rites reviews from critics have been mixed, with the film sporting a lackluster 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience-driven popcorn meter score, however, is higher at 78, and it's with general reviewers that these films really succeed. The success of the film certainly suggests that this franchise isn't going anywhere. The big question now is whether this is truly the end of the road for Ed and Lorraine. These two characters have been at the center of the Conjuring saga since 2013, but Last Rites being such a big hit means Warner Brothers could be keen on keeping them around. Even if Ed and Lorraine don't return, another Conjuring movie seems inevitable. If another film does happen, though, franchise creator James Wan may not be a part of it. After directing the first two installments, Wan has remained on board as a producer. Brothers have has broken down over contract negotiations. Our take on The Conjuring Last Rites latest box office milestone. 2025 has been a big year for original horror, with both Sinners and Weapons earning acclaim and becoming major commercial successes. Franchise horror, however, is still crucial for theaters, as Last Rites makes abundantly clear. If Warner Brothers decides to make another installment in this franchise, the Last Rites ending does leave the door open enough for more stories. Whether it makes sense creatively to continue the saga, however, is another matter, and it will eventually reach a point of diminishing returns. For now, though, audiences are clearly enjoying The Conjuring Last Rites. Ed and Lorraine continue to be the two of the most compelling protagonists in the genre, and the latest milestone suggests viewers may not have seen the last of them just yet. Um, so there you go. Right now, it's in theaters. Right now, it's rated R. Make sure you go check it out. Um, you should go check it out though, and I bet you it made more money than the K-pop Demon Hunters movie. So yeah, there you go, right there. There you go, right there. Um, okay. Um, all right. Now let's go over the recap of what happened with the MTV Video Music Awards. And TV show checkouts. Um, let's get to it right here. Okay, 222. Okay. Okay, let's go over the highlights of what happened in the VMAs by MTV. And this is from Deadline. Ella Cool J hosted the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards live from New York's UBS Arena. The night saw a trio of artists being honored for their work, including Mariah Carey, who received the Video Vanguard Award. She is also set to perform a medley highlighting some of her hits from her career. Busta Rhymes accepted the Rock the Bells Visionary Award, while Ricky Martin was honored with the inaugural Latin Icon Award. Lady Gaga led the 2025 VMAs with 12 nominations, including Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, and Best Album. The Abracadabra singer marks the third time she has led nominations, having achieved the feat previously in 2010 and with 13 nods, and 2020, where she tied with 9 nods. Yeah, by the way, she had to go to New York by Madison Square Garden at the time, so that's why she couldn't stay. Other artists with multiple nominations included Bruno Mars, Kendrick Lamar. Hold on, Bruno Mars with 11, Kendrick Lamar with 10, Rose and Sabrina Carpenter 8 each, Ariana Grande and The Weeknd 7 each, Billie Eilish 6, Charlie XCX 5, Bad Bunny, Doechii, Ed Sheeran, Jelly Roll, Miley Cyrus, and Tate McRae 4 each. The race for the most ever VMAs wins continues between Beyonce and Taylor Swift. Both were nominated for Artist of the Year, but lost to Lady Gaga. All right. So, Video of the Year, Ariana Grande won that one for Brighter Days Ahead, Republic Records. Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Rose and Bruno Mars. Um, APT, Best New Artist, Alex Warren. Best Pop Artist, Sabrina Carpenter. MTV Push Performance of the Year, January 2025, Cat's Eye, Touch. Best Collaboration, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die with a Smile. Best Pop, Ariana Grande, Brighter Days Ahead. Best Hip Hop, Doechii, Anxiety. Best R&B, Mariah Carey, Type Dangerous. Best Alternative, Somber, Back to Friends. Hang on. Best Rock, Coldplay, All My Love. Best Latin, Shakira. Hold on. Yeah, Shakira. Soltera. Best K-pop, Lisa featuring Doja Cat and Ray, Born Again. Best Afrobeats, Tyler, Push to Start. Best Country, Megan Moroney, Am I Okay? Best Album, Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. Best Long Form Video, Ariana Grande, Brighter Days Ahead. Video for Good, Charlie XCX, guest featuring Billie Eilish. Best Direction, Lady Gaga, Abracadabra. Best Art Direction, Lady Gaga, Abracadabra again. Best Cinematography, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. Best Editing, Tate McRae, Just Keep Watching, from the F1 movie soundtrack. Best Choreography, Doechii, Anxiety. Best Visual Effects, Sabrina Carpenter, Manchild. And of course, Song of the Summer. Oh wow. Addison Rae, Headphones On, Alex Warren, Ordinary, Benson Boone, Mystical Magical, Big X the Plug, featuring Billy featuring Bailey Zimmerman, All the Way, Chaperone, The Subway, Demi Lovato, Fast, Doja Cat, Jealous Type, Hunter X, EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Emma. Golden. Jesse Murph, Blue Strips. Justin Bieber, Daisies. Def Jam. um, Mar- Molly, Silent Addy, Skillet Band, and Shensia. Shake It to the Max remix. Morgan Wallen featuring Tate McRae. What I Want. Raven Lene featuring Rex Orange County. Love Me Not. Sabrina Carpenter, Manchild, Somber 12 to 12. Tate McRae, Just Keep Watching. Um, yeah, so best group Blackpink, and I believe that's about it right there. All right, all right. So, all right, hold on. On to some places to do for the week and weekend. All that great stuff right there. I'm gonna actually get into one of those things right here. Go to one of those things right here. So, hold on one second. All right, time for remains to be seen. This is a segment where I give you some fun activities to do for the week and weekend. All right, so let's get into this right here, right now.
Remains to be seen, kid. Get it? Remains to be seen.
How many of you at home know about the 1993 movie, animated cartoon movie? It came out in 1993 by Tim Burton called The Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Well, there is an event that's going on right now. There's an event that's going on at the New York Botanical Garden, and of course, yeah. So this is basically returning to the Bronx. It's actually returning to the Bronx and brand new scenes, festive music and video projections. This all ages if this all ages evening experience was inspired by the timeless classic 1993 cartoon animated movie known for its stop motion animation and iconic characters such as Jack Skellington. The light trail promising to bring the film to life against the botanical beauty of the garden. The experience runs on select evenings from Thursday, which started yesterday, September 25th, and it's going to go through Sunday, November 30th, with tickets starting at $33 for children and $45 for adults. Um, and of course, visitors can walk through more than 8,300 square feet of dazzling light installations featuring interactive video projection, intelligent LED lighting, and 3D printed sculptures of the film's iconic characters. In addition to updated activations, this year's light trail will feature new refreshment and merchandise booths. We're coming back better than ever this year. Jeffrey Seller of the show's creator, Adventure Live, said in a press release, "We took everything we learned from our last year to make an even more exciting experience. A longer trail, more surprises, and better hospitality. You are going to want to come early or stay late for hot cider, beer, and wine, or some of the delicious snacks we're assembling." Um, Much to the delight of visitors, last year's Disney's Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas light trail included creepy neon spiders, an array of lit up tombstones, and a candy cane dotted Christmas forest. Needless to say, photo opportunities abound at every turn. All right. I'm gonna go on to LA because they got some stuff going on for LA, and then I'll come back to um what's going on in New York. All right. All right. So um the people in Los Angeles, California, and other areas of California, this one's for you. All right. Um so so let me see. So you have Autry's annual block party that's happening on September 27th, which is tomorrow and stuff. So, and of course, you got the Los Angeles Comic Con happening until September 28th. Um, Ohana Festival. You have the Ohana Festival, which runs from September 26th to the 28th. You have Night of the Jack, which is also happening. You can walk across the grounds of the scenic King Gillette Ranch in Calabasas as the Santa Monica Mountains hideaway is illuminated with thousands of hand carved jack o' lanterns. Night of the Jack returns with an on foot mile long trail this year, plus live pumpkin carving food trucks and a spook easy Spook Easy too. This year, you'll find new theme environments and multi-sensory experiences that make use of projection mapping. All right, so you have. Let me see. I'm trying to get some fun stuff, man. Let me see. So you have the opera at the beach that's happening on September 27th. That's tomorrow. Of course, you can make sure you buy your tickets. You go Make sure you buy your tickets and stuff. I'll mention the website in a minute. Matinees on the Mountain from September 27th through October 25th. Um, on select Saturday afternoons in the summer, the historic Mount Wilson Observatory screens a decades spanning lineup of sci-fi and astronomy um, inspired shorts and feature feature length films. Unlike the San Gabriel Mountain Sites concert series and stargazing sessions, matinees on the mountain won't take place inside the dome of the 100-inch telescope. Instead, screenings will take place inside the 256-seat auditorium inside the Astronomical Museum, the same venue used for the site's talks and telescopes lectures. And of course, you got Beyond Fest happening until October 8th. And let me see. You got the Montana Avenue Art Walk, which is happening September 27th. That's happening tomorrow. And of course, obviously, idyllic Montana Avenue shuts out cars from 7th to 7th Streets and turns into an artistic hub during this annual neighborhood event. Browse artwork from over 150 artists. Hear live jazz and Latin music. Get creative at free all ages workshops from and Paint Plus Lab and frequent the independent shops and eateries along the Santa Monica stretch. Um, Entry to the fair is free, but access to the bottled poetry, wine garden, and curated wine tastings set to a DJ set is $20. Um, let's see. Let me see. All right. Oh, you dog lovers. This one's for you. You got the Bark Barktoberfest. Barktoberfest actually is happening on okay, so that's crazy, man. So Yeah, you got the Barktober Fest. Followed by similar events at the Alley Works Outpost in Hawthorne on October 17th. You got the Moonlight Hike happening on September 26th, which is today, actually. That's today, anyway. Um, okay, you have Days Day at Vidiot. Um, you have Los Angeles Haunted Hayride, Magic of the Jack-o'-lanterns. Um, you have Locale 90254 Oktoberfest, September 27th, which is tomorrow. John Legend, September 28th. He's doing a performance at the Hollywood Bowl with Cindy Looper over Labor Day weekend. John Legend is back at the Bowl for a show of his own at the end of September. The R&B crooner, pianist, and EGOT winner is celebrating the 20th anniversary of his debut album, Get Lifted, which earned him his first 3 Grammys. West Side Story by LA Opera for October 12th of this year. Oktoberfest at Red Line Tavern now until November 16th. You got Dark Harbor until November 2nd. Jaws, the exhibition. Oh boy. Let me see. Looks delicious, exploring Japan's food replica culture. That's until January 20. That's until January 25th of next year, 2026. Let's see. Not Scary Farm until November 1st. Halloween Horror Nights until November 2nd. Oktoberfest at Workshaws until October 31st. Oedipus the King, Mama, until September 27th. Of course, you got Bob Baker Marionette Theater Halloween Spooktacular until November 9th. Make sure you buy your tickets to. Okay, make sure you. All right, make sure you buy your tickets and stuff. Let me. All right. Let me just look up the website so I can put you onto it. So, if you are in the LA area, the Chicago area, Paris, and the New York areas, and you're looking for some fun activities to do for the weekends, go to www.timeout.com. All right. Now let's go on. Let's go on back to New York for a sec. We have the All Things Go Festival that's happening. Actually, I want to go over this actually. So, first and foremost, this takes place. First and foremost, there's two things actually that I want to go over actually. I actually went over this, so this is gonna so All Things Go Festival is gonna take place in Meriwether Post Pavil 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 hold on Meriwether Post Pavilion, which takes place in Columbia, Maryland, and of course, some performances that's happening at Budweiser Stage in Toronto, Canada. Excuse me, Toronto, Canada. All right, so I already mentioned. What's going on with the performers, the performances, and all the other stuff. Doechii is going to be performing in Maryland, Columbia, Maryland. I think DC. DC. She's going to be in New York. She's going to be in New York City, Forest Hills Stadium. Yeah, Forest Hills Stadium. Yeah, so there. So you got Lucy Dockers, um, Dejo, Dejo Gigi Perez, Rachel Chi Noriri. You have Maud Latour, the Aces, Sarah Kinsley, Dolce, Remy Wolf, Lolo Young, Griff, and so much more actually that's going to be there at the Forest Hill Stadium. Of course, make sure you get your tickets over there as well. You can go to allthingsgofestival.com for more information and of course the lineups that's going to be happening. So um all right, so we have the wine and food festival that's happening too. um I want to mention this actually so I can actually um it's happening October 15th through the 19th. So I want to actually mention this before I forget. So our talent 300 plus celebrated chefs, winemakers, mixologists, and culinary stars are going to be there. And of course, the cause is to building a better future through food, hospitality, and sustainability. And yeah, so there you go, right there. Sophia and Manolo Vergara joined the grand tasting. You got Gene. Hold on a second. Um, Gene Georges. Gene Georges is going to be there. Oh, of course, Culinary Campus host Gene Georges Vanga Richten is going to be the host of that event. Now, to see who's coming, let me just go over who's going to be there. Let's go over who's going to be there actually. So, Ali and Jeremy Rhodes, Brandon Kelly and Daniel Grossman, Elaine Ducasse and Alberto Marco Longo, Gandhi, who you may know from Elvis Duran in the Morning Show, Lil Mo Mozzarella, Elizabeth Peoples, and Stephanie Bassett, the C5 Grill, Benjamin Steakhouse, Ray's Bar, Charlotte Denoyer, Carrie Denoyer, and Alex Aparicio. Ja Rule's going to be there. Muhammad Abdul Hadi is going to be there. Nozomu Abe, Rodrigo Abraham, Rodrigo Abraham, however you pronounce it. Nikhil Abuvala are going to be there. Karen um, Aku Nowitz, um, Enat Adan. Hold on, Enat Ad Money. Fluffy. Um, Listen, I'm not going to be so every single person. Sonny Anderson is going to be there. Jose Andres, um, along with every single person that's on this list that's going to be there at the event, the New York City Wine and Food Festival. You can go to nycwff.org so you can know who's going to be there. All right. This is provided by the Food Network channel. All right. And let's go to and Steve Aoki. Actually, I didn't have time to actually mention that yesterday. I didn't have time to think about that. Let me just go to best things to do for the weekend for this week of the 26th to the 28th for New York. Let's go on to it right here. Hold on. So starting with Wheels of NYC. That's taking place on Saturday, September 27th. That's tomorrow. Um, More than 150 classic cars will fill a 60,000 square foot rustic warehouse at Brooklyn Navy Yard for Wheels of NYC on Saturday, September 27th. And of course, you can expect to see vintage Audis, BMWs, Porsches, Lamborghinis, and some used cars also will will surprise even the biggest auto admirers. Yeah, there you go. And of course, the tickets is $35. You got the New York Film Festival happening from September 26th today through October 13th. That's happening, which is going to take place in the Lincoln Center. And the tickets are on sale right here for $20 to $30 with a discount for film at the Lincoln Center members and students. Um, okay. And Bronx Night Market it's also going on. So you have of course, Bronx Night Market has been okay since 2017. The Bronx Night Market has been the longest running event series in the Bronx. You can find it in Fordham Plaza on the last Saturday of going each month through October. Okay, so this started. So the dates are September 27th and October 25th. All right, so let's see what this is, man. All right. Okay. Hmm, what the hell on here? All right. What the hell's going on here? Um, what the hell? Come on. Hold on a second here. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the delay. I've been trying to actually refresh this. So anyway, um, let me get to the so all right, so Bronx Night Market Oktoberfest celebrations is happening. Of course, you can read about it. Timeout Market Union Square's grand opening. Timeout Market Union Square is officially opening today. It actually opened today, actually, and this is ground floor of Zero Irving, which is on 124 East 14th Street. You can also actually check that place out. That's in Manhattan, New York. All right. You can check it out. Doors open at 8 a.m. And of course, the Global Citizens Festival. I've been meaning to get to that. So you can see Shakira totally free in Central Park on September 27th. Annual NYC event since 2012. Global Citizen Festival effectively turns the Great Lawn into massive open air concert as a reward for doing good in the community. The concert blends superstar performances. Other performances this year includes The Weeknd, Tyler, um, Ira Star, and Mariah the Scientist, with some calls for global change from promoting climate action to ending the extreme poverty. Tickets are technically free. You don't have to pay for them, but you have to earn them. All right. You can go check out their website over there for more information. All right. So you have I already talked about the All Things Go Festival that's happening um September 26th through September 28th. Tickets is going to be $89 for general admission. And this is taking place in if you are in New York, it's going to take place at the Forest Hills Stadium in Forest Hills, Queens, New York. All right. Red Bull Battella, U.S. national final. Of course. Let me see. Actually, I'm not going to talk about this because this already happened today. Never mind. Never mind. Let me skip that. All right. Elimination NYC is happening right now. It just started yesterday. Um, yesterday, Thursday, September 25th, and it goes through Saturday, September 27th. The 3.5-acre waterfront green space will be transformed into a glowing playground complete with more than 20 large-scale light installations, dazzling projections, mapping across the park's new architecture, and the kind of harbor views that would make Lady Liberty herself stop there. Um, Admission is free. You just have to RSVP online and grab your brightest outfit. Strong, New York. I've been hearing about this actually, and it's happening on Saturday, September 27th. This is basically for fitness and wellness festival. Um, Taking over the Glass House in Hell's Kitchen is 75,000 square feet of pure endorphin overload. Um, think para, panoramic Manhattan views, celebrity-led workouts, and a wellness playground that makes your local gym look like a broom closet. All right. What the hell? All right. And of course, I will talk about the one battle after another movie in in the up in the following future episodes of this podcast. All right. Um, it's out right. The rated R movie is out right now, so I'll talk about that in a future episode. All right. All right. Bub's Candy Sweet Easy Pop Up. Um, of course, $14.39 a pound. Um, so find a Sweet Easy at 69 Mercer Street through October 22nd. The pop up is free to enter with no tickets needed. It's open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and at 12 to 5 p.m. Sunday. Yeah, yeah, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday. For opening day, September 25th is already happening. Hours are from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. There you go. Let's see. I'm not gonna even go there. The Creole Food Festival is already happening. It's taking place Saturday, September 27th, which is tomorrow. Creole Food Festival has showcased the culinary prowess of black and brown chefs from across the diaspora, including cuisines found in Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, South America, and the South. The festival plans to do it all again for the seventh year, this time bringing the vibes to Brooklyn. The Creole Food Festival will be landing in Brooklyn for the very first time, right under the Brooklyn Bridge. In conjunction with Timeout Market New York, Dumbo, the weekend long festival will include the Creole Brunch, live music, and the place excuse me, and the Peace Day Resistance, the grand tasting on Saturday, September 27th. Of course, don't forget to buy your tickets, man. And like I said, if you want tickets to fun activities and you're looking for some fun activities to do, go to www.timeout.com. All right. All right. All right. Let me see if there's anything I need to talk about here. All right. I think that's it, man. I think that's it. Hold on. All right, we're about to be out of here right now with stream choices on the go. All right. Stream choices on the go. Let's do this. All right, make sure you follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook, alongside with Bluesky Social, alongside with Threads and Instagram. Same goes with my other podcast shows that I do, which is my sports edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with the entertainment review show, Meticulous Values podcast, and of course, you can follow your host with the most, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. And if you go to the link in bio on both of my primary personal page or the podcast show page, you're going to see a link that says Linktree / G Money Stacks 555, and it's going to lead you to some podcast feed links, starting with Odyssey, Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating alongside with a review. That way it helps the show grow and gives me the confidence for me to create more content and more new episodes. Also the comedy podcast is also on Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overall FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Panorama Podcast, Index Podcast, Addict Podcast, Index Podcast, Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snip. You can also add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. You can also listen on Spotify for creators, TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you can listen to your favorite rappers, R&B singers, and other music genres and hip hop artists. You can listen to your favorite AM and FM radio stations, and also you can listen to the comedy podcast shows for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is just follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on iHeartRadio, alongside with the stream platform podcast feed links that I just mentioned. And of course, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel page, G Money Stacks 555, for more live video podcast episode, live stream recordings. And if you miss any episodes whatsoever, please feel free to actually catch up on the episodes and all that other stuff, all that great stuff. And also leave a like and a comment along with the topics in today's episode. Tell me how you feel about the topics in today's episode whatsoever. In terms of the topics being discussed in today's episode, tell me how you feel about it in the comments below. You can share the podcast by sharing the link tree link with the podcast feed links to your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you are cool with from work. And also be sure to also enable alerts so you can get notified on when I'll be on the air live. And of course, more video podcast episode live streams. New episodes dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right. So yeah, there you go, right there, folks. Um, all right, I'm about to wrap up right here, man. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Thank you very much for listening to the 423rd episode. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. It's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. If you have any talent that you're trying to do, don't let anybody stop you from doing what you love to do creatively. And of course, find your niche. Do something that makes you happy, creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. And if you missed out on any fun activities that I just mentioned, you're more than welcome to listen to episode 423 again after this recording is done. All right. And of course, make sure you have your warm clothes ready alongside with your blankets, alongside with your winter clothes, including your jogging sweatpants, your windbreakers. You have your hoodies, your sweaters, your winter hats, your gloves, your scarves, all that great stuff right there. Because next week the weather is going to change. It's going to feel like fall weather. So be prepared to actually, have your warm clothes, including your PJs, all that great stuff on deck. All right. I'm going to get up out of here right now, man. Peace and one love. I'll be back next time with more new episodes, more new topics, including transit, including anything related to TV, anything related to movies, anything related to video games, anything that comes to mind, I will talk about it. All right. So take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be safe out there. And of course, have fun doing what you love creatively, whether it's a podcast, whatever it may be, whatsoever. Do what you love. And remember, being on your podcasting recording grind is a marathon, not a sprint. All right. So there you go, right there. I'm out of here. Peace and one love. I'll see y'all next time on the flip side. Peace and one love. Let's go, Mets. Let's go, New York Giants. Good night, everybody.